Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about REST APIs. REST APIs are very essential in making real-world applications, and today we are going to be using an API example of a mini store. Basically, we are going to be using Fake Store API to learn about the various formats of REST API. So we'll be fetching a list of products, adding a new product, updating an existing one, and learning how to delete it. So basically we'll be learning about get, post, put, and delete, which are the core concepts of every REST API. So let's get started. I have an HTML file in which there's just a simple title and there's an empty script tag, and we're going to start by directly writing a script into this tag. So let's get started. In one of the videos, I had explained the concept of promises, and this is something that we are going to use here to work with this API. So to get started, we would be writing a fetch call, and here inside the fetch we'll be writing the API that we are going to fetch. So we are starting with the get call, and we are trying to get a list of products from this API. So the API is https fakestoreapi.com/products. This is the API that will give me the list of all the products that I want. And now, as with any promise, it either is resolved or rejected. If it is resolved, I get the then callback, which gives me the response, and this response is going to be converted into a JSON format. So I do response.json to get a JSON out of it, and then again a then, which gets the data as the parameter, and here we're going to simply log the products. So I say products, and then I'm going to just print the data here. And now I'm going to my browser. Alright, and we are now getting a list of 20 products. So this API is returning an array of objects wherein each object is a product, and I get to see the category, description, title, image, and price of these products. Now I can use this API to display the list of products right here. So I think our get call is done. We now understand how to get API data. Moving on to the next, it is the post call, which means how to add a new entity to this list. I want to add a new product to this list. So how will we do that? So we are going to keep the API as the same, just that we are going to be passing another argument here, and that is called method, and we are going to pass the method as post. In our previous call, no method was passed, and so it was automatically assumed as get, because when no method is passed, the default is always get. But now that I want to do post, I will have to pass it explicitly, and we are going to pass headers, and we would need content type as application/JSON. is going to be, we want the returned content to be in JSON format, or we're going to pass the data in JSON format. And now I am creating a new product, and I want to pass the data of that new product. So how would I do that? To do that, I would have to pass a body parameter, and the body needs to have all of the attributes that we see here in the object. But there's one more thing. We need to pass it in a stringified format. So we do json.stringify, and here is where we're going to pass the object. So we would need a title, and we would pass the title as stylish backpack, and then it's going to have a price, so we'll say 29.99, and then some category which would be bags, and a description, and an image. I'm just passing a random source of image here, and that is it. So this is the additional content that we had to pass because we want to now post a new product. And then how would we handle the response? The handling of the response would be done in the same way, just that this time what it returns would not be all of the products, it would return the created product. And now this time if I refresh, I get created product. Previously there were only 20 products. Now the new product that got added, it got assigned an ID of 21, and all of the details that I had passed in my body I can now see here, which means that my post API is also working. I can also inspect the same in the network tab, wherein I get to see in the payload, I get to see all of the body content that I passed. So if you see the header must have a URL of where I'm trying to post it. So the header URL shows fake store API /products. The method shows as post because we passed the method as post. Then we can inspect the headers further. There are headers that come by default and the headers that we add. So the one that we added is here. And then the payload shows the body that we are passing with the API. So everything that I passed is visible here in alphabetical order. And then the preview shows what output the server returned for this API. So this was the data that was returned by the server, which means the product that I added just now, and I can see it here. Moving on to put. Now that we're done with post, we have to see how can I update one of the existing products. So to do that, we would need to modify our API. So here instead of products we'll add /1, which is the ID of the product that I want to edit. So this is the product that I'm going to be edit. The method changes from post to put. The header remains the same, and here instead I'll pass the values that I want the first product to be updated to. So I'll call it updated backpack, and I can change the other details like price, I can change it to 34. The category can remain the same and the image too, and upgraded version of the backpack, and handling of the promise remains the same. Instead we just get the updated product this time. And so now when I refresh, I get the updated product. I got the ID as 1 because that is the product that I wanted to edit, and the rest of the details are what I had passed. We can see here the API, the URL of the API is product/1 with the method as put and payload as all of the parameters that I had passed, and the preview returns whatever the server returned for this API. And that was all about put. And then moving on to delete. Delete is very simple. We are going to be deleting the first product, so this remains as is. The method changes to delete, and now we won't need to pass anything. The ID of the product is enough to delete it, so we don't need to pass anything else. And this time it will return the deleted product to us. And so if I refresh, the original product in the first iteration is now the product that has been deleted. If I go to the network tab, I get to see that the URL is products, but the method is delete, and there is no payload because we didn't pass anything, but we get to see which product was deleted. And using this we can create a very nice UI for our product store, because now we've learned how to get, post, put and delete using our products API. And that was it. In less than 10 minutes, we just built a mini store using REST API. We fetched products, added a new one, updated it and deleted it. The exact operation you'd use in real world apps. So basically you now know how to do CRUD with REST API. If you want me to turn this into a full shopping cart app, please add a comment below and we'll explore how to make a UI on top of these API wrappers. That was all for this video. Thank you.